And let's go ahead and dive back in here. Okay, so the basic tools that you're going to be using throughout class are Zoom, which we're already on. You are going to use the exact same link you used for orientation for any group sessions that we have throughout class. So you can either save the link or we have it in so many places that you will be able to find it in various different locations, which I'll highlight throughout our little tools section here. Okay. And CTD Learns App. So that is a application, a web application, a website that we have built here at CTD for you to be able to access your learning materials, your coding assignments, all of that good things. So we'll be covering that information as well too. I'll show you around Slack a little bit. So if you are completely unfamiliar with using Slack, because not every industry uses that to communicate within their networks, then you'll get a quick tour of how to be able to find your way around that. And then GitHub, you'll start using week 5, but you should have a account already set and have told us your username because that is what gets you the access into some of your other tools. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into Zoom first because we're already on it and we've done a couple of things in it already. So Zoom's going to be primarily used for your group mentor sessions. You might have some one-on-one mentor sessions that say, hey, there's not a group session going on right now. Let's just hop on the mentor Zoom link and that way we can meet without any kind of time limit. You can also meet collectively. So we've had some student groups in the past that have been like, I know there's not going to be a mentor present, but there's a bunch of us students who just want to get together and socialize or work on kind of co-work together on our tasks while we're on a call together to keep each other company and feel some community and collaboration. So you're welcome to do that if there isn't a mentor session going on. All right, so since we're in Zoom, let's play with our tools here a little bit just so that way you can get comfortable with how to use it. I am going to stop sharing for a minute so that way, oh, I wasn't sharing anyway. Shame on me. This was what I was covering as far as how that looks and how that goes. But yeah, so we're going to go through the tools. As you can see on the screen here, a lot of your tools are down here at the panel if you're on desktop. They're also on the bottom if you're on a mobile device right now too. Your audio to be able to mute and unmute your video are the very first 2 icons, whether you're on mobile or on desktop. And then there are a whole bunch of other ones. We don't necessarily need all of them, but I'm going to hit some highlights on some of those. Okay, so our first little fun interactivity. I know not everybody necessarily wants to be on camera, so if you don't want to be on camera, just have your thumb cover your lens. And several of you already are on camera, which is wonderful. We love to see that. But go ahead and feel free to just toggle your camera on and off. So like tap it or click it once to be able to turn your camera on. You can keep your thumb covered if you don't want to be on camera. Tap it again to turn it off. And then whichever you prefer for keeping it either on or off for the rest of the thing, feel free to do so. I'll give you all a couple minutes just to kind of play with that and make sure that it's behaving itself. All right, nice. Y'all are popping like popcorn on my screen. I love it. Okay, great. Now we know how to use our cameras. Let's also use the mic. So go ahead and unmute yourselves. I have everybody muted right now. Unmute yourselves and just say hi or make a silly noise or, you know, armpit farts or whistles.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Love it.
Hello.
Wonderful. All right, so everybody should be comfortable now with where their mute and unmute buttons are, where their video on-off buttons are. Those are the basics. You obviously just use breakout rooms, so you'll know how to join a breakout room if you're ever prompted to do so in any kind of group sessions or anything like that. And let's also go ahead and make sure everybody knows how to use the chat, even though y'all were blowing it up at the beginning, which was wonderful. So just put your favorite color in the chat. So that way we know that you're comfortable with using that. And you can see who else likes the same color as you. All right, while you all are popping those colors into the chat, yay, that's wonderful, excellent. Then our next tool that we'll do is reactions. This is a fun one, I love this one. So usually it is a heart-shaped icon. For those of you on desktop, it's going to be kind of in the middle bottom of your screen. For those of you on mobile, you might have to swipe to the side on the bottom to get to those additional ones. Look at that, perfect. Hearts, thumbs up,
Porque
claps.
quiero que, como
You can do
como
some
puede
that
ser que
do
me refiero
like
a que
whole screens. You can do some that
tiene,
do just reactions. And it also has some really great tools that I want to highlight there too. You can do raise hand if you have a question in your mentor session. It has little like fast forward and slow down buttons so that way you can indicate to the mentor like, okay, we're good, move a little quicker, or hold on, slow down, back up, and what was that? So feel free to make use of those reactions. They're fun and they're helpful. All of that is good things. John, did you actually have a question or you were just testing out the raise hand? I think you probably were just testing out the raise hand. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, great. Okay, moving right along from the reactions. There's one tool that you're not going to test right now, but I want you to at least see that this is an option. So at the bottom of your screen, there's a green rectangle that says share with an up arrow in it. And so if you click on that, it'll open a new window that shows you like you can share just an individual screen, you can share an individual tab of your browser, you can share an entire application. So that way you can select what you want to share. It has additional options on the side about like share sound in case you need somebody to hear what you're also showing. And then the blue share button is how you'd actually share it. But we obviously don't need anybody to share right now because we're just taking a look at our tools. So give yourself a chance to take a look at that because there might be times you want to share your screen and be like, this is the error I'm getting on my code, and you all can kind of troubleshoot how to work through those. All right, great. So now you're all Zoom pros for the purpose of our classes. Feel free to dig into any additional tools as you get more comfortable using it, but you have all the basics down to be able to do what you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen and keep on keeping on with our orientation here. Okay, so the next one is the CTD Learns app. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for it in the chat. So that way you all can, oops, it helps if I actually hit share. There we go. I got too many windows open, y'all. Okay, I'm going to drop the link to our Learns app in the chat. I gave everybody access earlier today. Feel free to click in there, make sure that you can log in. It's going to prompt you to log in with GitHub. So you'll do login with GitHub and then proceed from there. But I'm also going to share screen and kind of walk you through it. So if any of you are on a mobile device or you're just away from your computer and you're kind of listening into us tonight, that's totally fine. You can take a look at your screen and kind of see what's going on based on what I'm showing you. So when you first log into the Learns app, sorry, I hope my throat holds up tonight. When you first log in, you'll have a dashboard here on the side. It'll say your name. If you have multiple roles, it'll say which role you're in under, but all of you should be students since you're all intro students. So you might not see that option. You can toggle back and forth between light and dark mode in case you need that to be easier on your eyes. So feel free to utilize that if that is an accessibility feature that would benefit you. On the main dashboard, it's going to show you your Mars course and that it starts November 5th is when you'll have access to the lesson materials. So right now it's just kind of in a holding pattern. Oh, and actually November 3rd is the first day that you'll be able to log in and take a look at stuff. But November 5th is when your week 0 starts. As you take multiple courses with us, you'll be able to access them through this drop down and selecting whatever the other class is. You can, once you're in advanced classes, if you want to revert back and look at something from this Mars class, you can toggle back and forth. You'll have access to the curriculum even after you've gone on to other things. When you are in the dashboard and the class is active, so right now we're pre-class, but once the class is active, then your dashboard's going to have a couple extra widgets on it. So it'll still show you your progress in the class, like chronologically, how far are we through the class? So come end of the year, you should be about 50% of the way through the class since we go until March. And we're starting in October. It'll show you the most recent upcoming assignments, as well as the current assignment for the week, the assignment for the past week. So it just kind of gives you a quick screenshot of last week, this week, next week in your assignments. It will update as you turn in your assignments, then it'll turn to yellow and it'll say pending review, I think is the words that show up. Once your assignment's been approved, it'll be a green check and it'll say assignment approved. There is a little bit of a lag time on this. So as soon as you hit submit, if this still says not yet submitted, don't panic. Give it up to an hour and then the app should update and you should see accurate information there. Um, it also shows you the schedule as far as what's coming up and what that week is, and you can use these to be able to jump to a particular week. So your, week 4 lesson, you can use the arrow and it'll take you straight to your week 4 lesson page. It also has your profile. So it'll have any kind of picture from GitHub. It carries that over. So you'll see your little GitHub avatar there. And then these are grayed out because this is just a little sample class that I've thrown together for demonstration purposes. But all of these links here will be active and you'll be able to use those. So I had mentioned about we're going to have this Zoom link plastered everywhere for you to be able to join group sessions. So that's one of the ways that you can join group sessions is click Zoom and it'll take you to connect into the Zoom call when there's a group session. Announcements and discussion will take you to Slack to those specific channels. So that way, if you need to check what the class announcements are or you want to ask a question, then you can do those. If for some reason Slack is completely not working correctly for you and you're having trouble getting a hold of anybody, class email will open up an email document for you to be able to send to Susie or Teresa at your all's class email, which is mars@codethedream.org. So that way you can still communicate with us even if things go down. And then the mentor session sheet's actually going to redirect you to a part of Slack that shows you when the group mentor sessions are going to be held. All right, so that's your dashboard, and that's what it'll look like once the class is live on the 3rd. Then you should be able to see all these additional little widgets down here. But for right now, it just lets you know course will begin on the 3rd. Official start date for week 0 is on the 5th. All right. Your courses part of your menu will show you any classes you've taken. I started with Code the Dream as a student back in 2018 and 2019. So I've got some old stuff on here. But as you take classes with us, then they will populate here. So you can also jump to whatever your particular course was if you want to look back at old information. And then our resources tab has some information about the Code the Dreams Lab apprenticeship in case you're curious what that's like. That happens after you finish 2 advanced classes and a practicum. Class resources has just like supplemental learning materials, helpful things for using Git version control systems, a discussion about what's the difference between front end and back end. And then down here in career development sections, we also have some little steps to kind of help you work on your resume, cover letters and LinkedIn things, job searching techniques, and other tools like that. So feel free to take a look at the resources whenever time allows and or you need information on those. Okay, so what does an actual like lesson page or like once the class starts and you click into it, what's going to happen? The first thing you'll see is your class calendar. This drop down at the top also lets you get into some general information about like submitting assignments, how do you ask for help, where mentor sessions, get access to the student handbook, all those kinds of things. But then your courses are broken into sections. So Learning to Learn is the thing you'll start November 5th. JavaScript Basics and Functions, you'll start November 12th. But here at the front here with the class calendar, it gives you a breakdown of what the week number is, when that week starts, when that assignment is due for that week, and then of course the link to the lesson page itself. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Learning to Learn just to give you a quick preview of it. There's no coding assignment at all in that November 5th to the 11th. It's just an extra week to be able to give you all some time to get comfortable with all these new tools and get comfortable with our format, our policies, our routines. And that way you're ready to hit the ground running on the 12th. Okay, so it has a lot of information. You can access the student handbook, take a look at our AI policy or academic policies, program path information, all of that good stuff. If ever you see an error like this, the video itself isn't allowed to have embedding. So you just click watch video on YouTube and it'll open up the YouTube video for you in a new tab or in a new window so you can take a look at it. But it's got helpful like growth mindset, time management, all that kind of stuff. So just read through it during the course of that November 5th to November 11th. And then your only assignment for the week 0 week is actually just filling out some basic information about, how do you get in touch with your one-on-one mentor or who is your cohort leader or things like that. So it's just ways for us to make sure that you are comfortable with where your tools are, how to access them, and what they do. That's the only thing you have to turn in for week 0 is just that little week 0 questionnaire. Feel free to use the chat if there's any questions that are cropping up as we're going through this, by the way. An actual lesson, when you get into the meat and potatoes of the class and you have to do the actual coding assignment, learning JavaScript, all of that good stuff, is going to look more like this. You'll have your learning objectives outlined. So this is just a quick, what am I learning this week? What am I going to be covering? Your lesson material information is here. Sometimes we'll have screenshots kind of showing you your way around various tools, or we'll also have links available for you to be able to access additional information. A lot of our curriculum right now is outsourced from other locations. Odin Project is an open source third-party organization that creates sort of like computer basic education that people can self-study and access from. So we've kind of organized it into what makes sense for the order that we want to teach you things in. You can access Odin Project, or you can access Scrimba, or if you have a gazillion hours a week that you want to devote to learning about JavaScript, you can check out both, but you do not have to do both. You can just pick one or the other. Odin Project is a little more reading heavy and, looking at screenshots. And then Scrimba is a little more video heavy, where you would watch a video that kind of demonstrates code and you can kind of code alongside them. So pick whatever feels comfortable for you. Stick with that. If you need or want to take a look at any of the additional information there, you can. Anything for me to add about that kind of information, Teresa or Susie, that I'm forgetting? Okay, cool. We'll keep on keeping on then. So yeah, you read through your lesson materials, cover your links, if there's any links to information that you need to take a look at. Your first 4 weeks are going to be interactive coding assignments. And so you'll click the view button. It'll pull up your coding assignment and show you what the instructions are as commented out code. So read through all of these little green double line comments at the start and it'll tell you what to do. And it says, put your code here. So you would go ahead and, oh, sorry, I'm in sandbox mode. Oh wait, no, it's because the class hasn't started yet. I'm sorry, that's why it's not letting me type anything. Let me see if it'll behave itself there we go. Just for sandbox mode, then I can go ahead and turn this on. So you would put whatever your code is that you need to enter in there. When you're done answering the questions in the assignment, you can hit run to check to see how it does and see what pops up. You'll have save buttons that you'll need to do to be able to confirm that, yes, this is my code. I want to go ahead and save it. This is what I'll wind up submitting. But you can come and go back and forth to it. So you'll be able to see, like continue instead of view if you started it but hadn't finished it yet. You do have to have it confirmed and saved here before it will let you continue to the submission form and actually turn in that assignment. We have you do a coding assignment, but we also ask some additional information about how your lesson was, if it was too overwhelming, if it was too easy, so that way we can properly gauge our curriculum. Every week also has a mindset assignment. These are just sort of non-coding specific topics that are going to help you become a stronger programmer. So it might be about like debugging techniques or accessibility things to keep in mind if you're designing something, or asking for help or things of that variety. So usually it's read a few paragraphs, read an article, watch a short video, and then answer these journal type questions when you go to the submission form. Okay, so what does the submission form wind up looking like? Here I'm on a much later week in class that does not have an interactive assignment. It just has instructions for the assignment. And then when we click continue to submission form, it's going to take us to our assignment submission form here. Always use that continue to submit assignment button that's on the bottom of your lesson page, because it's going to pre-fill the lesson for you. And I believe it also pre-fills your name for you too. So it's a time saver to use that lesson page, turn in my homework button at the bottom. You'll paste in links to your work for the first 4 weeks. When you have those interactive assignments, it will already have a link here. So do not change it. You don't need to do anything to what populates here. That will already take care of it. So that way it points us to your code the proper way. But from week 5 and beyond, then you'll copy and paste your GitHub link into here. If you have questions for your reviewer, include them in the questions section so that way they can see what they need to address as they respond to your work. That mindset task I was talking about, you can put in your journal answer responses here. And then here's just the other questions that we ask as far as like how easy or difficult was the assignment, how easy or difficult was the lesson, how much time did you spend on it? Are there any other additional needs that you have? That kind of a thing. So you'll fill out those forms each week. and then go from there. Questions up to this point about lesson pages, about Learns App, about turning in your assignments?
So can I ask a
No,
question?
Oh,
So
there.
we're gonna
I
have
think there is
access.
a question. Let me turn my volume up a little so I can hear you better. Go ahead.
So we're gonna have access on November 5th?
Yeah, so November 5th starts the Learning to Learn week. So there's no coding on that Learning to Learn week. It's just, reading through some helpful tips there and then taking the little week 0 quiz about, where are you going to find your lessons at and all of that good stuff. But November 12th is when you'll start your actual coding assignment. Did that help, Anna, or do you have other questions?
And we will receive an access to this platform.
Sorry, your volumes are really quiet. I'm trying to turn you up so I can hear you better. Could you tell me again?
And we will receive an access to
Yes,
this.
you'll be able to access all of those lessons. November 3rd is when you should be able to get into it. So here on our
Thank you.
dashboard, November 3rd is when you'll be able to access the course. November 5th is when that week officially starts. Does that answer things?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Great.
I
Any
have
other
a
questions out
question,
there? Yeah,
Miss
go ahead,
Mary.
Lissy.
When we gonna receive the link to join the classes, and et cetera, et cetera?
Oh, okay, yeah. So the classes.codethedream.org link that I have in the chat right now, that's what'll get you into this Learns app. And then you go ahead and check and make sure that you can log into it. It'll have you log in with GitHub. So let me log out really quick. This will be the first screen that you see when you click that classes.codethedream.org. And you'll log in with GitHub. And that way it'll take you to your dashboard once you log in. If that's not letting you do that, then go ahead and put a message in the chat to me. So that way, or send me a message on Slack. So that way I know that I need to follow up and find out what's breaking.
Oh, yeah, I'm on my mobile device, so
Oh,
that
okay.
doesn't allow me.
All right, perfect. Then when you're back at home, yeah, just go ahead and take a look. The link to be able to get into the Learns app is going to be in your class information in Slack and all of those good things too. Yeah, Chantel, you've got a question. Go ahead.
So on November 3rd, would we still be able to continue if we want to, or just November 5th is when we can keep on going with the classes?
Yeah, that's a great question. November 3rd, you should be able to go ahead and start reading through the information. And if if you want to finish that week 0 questionnaire early, then you should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love you early birds. Y'all were early birds on the call and you're early birds about classes. That's exciting. Keep up that energy. Keep up that momentum. All right. So I think I've hit all of the highlights as far as assignment submission forms, Learns app, all of that good stuff. So let me jump back over to my intro orientation here. There we go. Okay, we covered Learns app. Let's talk about, let's see, you're submitting assignments. We covered that. Use that continue to submit your assignment button at the bottom. That pre-fills a bunch of information for you. For those first 4 weeks, do not delete out or change the link to your coding assignment because that pulls it from that interactive assignment, plugs it into your form. Okay. So then next up is going to be talking about some AI policy stuff. You all do have an AI review tool that can be your sort of first step of getting quick, rapid response on how your assignment is doing. But before I give you a tour of that, I do want to talk about our AI policy, the don'ts and do's, to make it very clear as far as what the expectations is, both for your AI usage, as well as for what's appropriate versus what's not appropriate. All right, so to quote from our AI policy from the student handbook, you should not use AI at all to write or rewrite your code. So the code itself that you are submitting as your assignment, the code that you're writing as you're practicing and learning how to form these methods and formulas and arrays and all the other wonderful things you'll learn in JavaScript, you should be typing that in yourself. Now, a caveat to that, there are a lot of tools out there that you'll be using that because of the AI boom have decided we're going to just have all of those AI tools automatically turned on for you. And so you have to manually go in and turn off some of the AI powered features like autocomplete or Copilot or other similar tools. When you are meeting with your mentors early on in this class, please ask them is this off? Am I doing the right thing? And make sure that things are set up properly. Because if you're using an autocomplete feature, it's robbing you of that opportunity of kind of mentally processing, like, how do I form that for loop? How do I write the syntax for this particular object? Because it's going to start it for you and you'll be like, oh, all I have to do is hit tab and it's there. Yeah, that's just going to cut you off at the knees. And then you're not going to remember why the syntax is that way, how it needs to be formed for it to work properly. So turn off any AI-powered tools. If you need help confirming that they're off, finding where they are so that way you know that they're off, please meet with a mentor for that. Violations to our AI policy. So if you are using AI to write your code or rewrite your code, there are quite a few tells that make it fairly obvious, and violating that could get you expelled from the program. So it's really important that you make the effort to write your code yourself and know that that is the expectation here, is that you are writing your code yourself. So that's what not to do. So what's the right way to use this, right? Because it's out there, everybody's using it. We need to make sure we're using it the right way. We do expect you to use your AI review tool that I'll show you here in a minute. That is a site that we have built for our students to be able to utilize. And it's built with the purpose of taking some of the challenge of working with AI out of it. But it's also there to kind of help guide you in using AI in the most effective way for when you're learning. Learners are going to use AI completely differently from how somebody who's an experienced developer uses an AI tool. While you are in class, we want you to treat AI tools like they're a teaching assistant. You wouldn't go to your professor or go to your teaching assistant or your tutor and be like, hey, give me the answer to these, please. Or, you know, I want the answer key for my test. You wouldn't say that to a human person that's helping you learn. So don't say that to AI when you're needing help getting learning done. Instead, you can say things like, can you explain more about this? Why is this wrong? Is there another way to be doing this? What are the other ways to handle this? What does this mean within a larger picture concept? Like, you know, how do I use this within a bigger app? So it's great to use AI and to ask those questions, as long as they're questions that are geared towards learning and critical thinking and not just shortcut fixes to be able to check a box. Critical thinking is key in programming regardless. So don't just blindly trust the answers you get back from AI either. Make sure that you're understanding them. They have been known to give incorrect information. They do contain biases because they are created by humans, which are biased people anyway. So be sure that you're critically thinking about the answers you're getting back from AI and not just taking it for, oh, well, it told me, so it must be right. You know, test yourself. Like, is that what I learned in class? Is what they're telling me accurate for how I'm supposed to do this? Definitely, you know, get that gray matter working and think about that. Okay, so let's take a look at what this tool is going to look like. It'll have AI assignment reviewer at the top. You'll use GitHub to log into it, just like you do with getting into the Learns app. I am going to go ahead and screen share. I'll have the link out for you. They are doing a couple of updates between now and Friday on this tool. So I will update and have those links available to you in Slack as soon as their app updates are done. Excuse me, as soon as their app updates are done. Okay, now then I need to jump to the right window so I can show you this. Here we are. Okay, so here I am, I'm logged in. You'll see other classes listed across the top. It's because this is one tool that other classes can also use. So make sure you have intro selected. You'll select whichever lesson you're working on. For these first 4 lessons where you're doing your code in Learns app, you'll want to highlight all of your code and then copy and paste it. Right here, I've just typed in console log hello, but you would paste your content down here. For some other assignments, then you can copy and paste a link. So when we get to those week 5 GitHub links, then all you have to do is just copy and paste the link to your pull request and plug that in where it says assignment link. Okay, so let me jump back over to my other example here for code assignment. So if I have code in here and I ask it to check my code, AI review, then it's going to provide me with feedback here. Sorry, it's probably going to go a little slow since I'm screen sharing right now. If you need to refer back to what the assignment instructions are, then there's a link to be able to have it pull up a window so that you know what the assignment instructions were. And of course, it's going to tell me revision needed because this does nothing of what we expect you to do week 1. And it'll let you know, like, you're not declaring variables properly, you're not doing the string concatenation assignment properly. So it highlights the areas that are incorrect so you know what areas to work on. It'll let you know what areas are correct as well too. So, you know, I appreciate your effort, but you need to kind of change things. It will keep a running history. So this is the one I did just now. If I were to change something about it and resubmit, then it would record that as well. So that way I'll have a running history of how many times I've run it, what were my answers in case you ever need to look back and see how it advised you about something. You can report if something it's giving you is wrong by hitting response incorrect, and it flags it for our production team. But as you can see, it's got the multiple ones listed there. It shows you what those results were by using the drop downs. You can take a look at what the code was for that particular time. Oh, that one's broken. I'll have to let them know about that. And then, of course, it also has a chat feature here as well. So if you want to say, what is a JavaScript variable, then you can ask it, and it uses an AI chat bot to be able to explain this is what it is, this is how you would use it, so on and so forth. So do your assignment yourself first, and make sure that you are working through the debugging process of kind of grappling with it and understanding it. When you feel like you have your assignment in a good place, copy and paste it in to our assignment reviewer and see what it tells you as sort of your first draft round of, does everything look good, or is it going to help you catch something before you submit your work? Once you feel like everything's good, go ahead and turn in your assignment. Assignments are due on Tuesday nights. Anything I'm leaving out of the AI review stuff that I need to cover, Teresa or Susie?
Sorry, I can't remember if you did this, but it's not a substitute for testing your code. Make sure you test your code first, then use the AI reviewer.
Exactly. Console logs are your friends. Use them. They're so helpful in kind of figuring out like what's going wrong and where is it going wrong. All of this will become clear if you're completely unfamiliar with what console logs are or things like that. It'll become clear as you're working your way through your lesson materials and working with mentors. Okay. Questions about the AI reviewer or about the AI policy and expectations? Okay, we'll keep on keeping on. All right, let's get a quick preview of Slack now. Many of you are already in there. If you are not already in Slack, you should have received an email from Slack earlier today. You might need to check your spam or trash folders. And it has a message in there from me saying you're being invited to the Code the Dream workspace. Go ahead and get yourself set up and in Slack. You will need to check Slack multiple times throughout the week. This is how we communicate predominantly among mentors, among staff members. So it is the best way to get a hold of each other and to connect with one another and to chat with one another. So let me go ahead and pull open this here. Okay, so I am logged into Slack here. Slack, you can either download and have it as a program that runs on your computer, or you can use it in the browser, whatever is easiest to you. It also works on mobile devices, so you can add the app on your mobile device or on your tablet or whatever, in case you need or want to do so that way. Anything that is new and needs your attention should be bold-faced and let you know if you have new messages there. So be sure to check out anything that's bold-faced. As you can see, several of you have already been saying hello in the Mars outlet. That's wonderful. I love seeing that kind of connection and activity in the channels, so feel free to keep that up throughout class. Your announcements is going to be where your cohort leaders let you know of any particular announcements about Code the Dream closures, reminders of what week we're on, upcoming deadlines for things, that kind of stuff. And also here in the announcements channel, you've got class information, this little tab at the top. So right now we're in messages to see anything that gets posted. When you click Mars class information, this is where it'll have like your links to the Learn app, information about assignment submission. I'm going to be creating views so that way you know who your assignment reviewer is and which section you're in. So this will become a link for you to be able to find who your reviewer and section leader is. Student handbook is in there. The AI assignment reviewer, I'll make sure that that's up to date because they've actually switched the app name for it. And yeah, just tons and tons of information in that class information. That is an excellent go-to when you're like, I don't know where such and such is. It's probably in the class information tab. The group sessions that we have scheduled already for Your class coming up, Joy is going to hold one 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, Eduardo 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, Jake 4 p.m. on Thursdays, and then Hassan 1 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. There might be still some changes that happen to this. I know Reed is still onboarding some of the mentors and getting them trained up. So you may see some things change here, but you can always refer to it for any kind of particulars and notes. All of the sessions will begin the 12th, will be the soonest. So Eduardo's will be the very first session that kicks off our class. And then at the end of that first week, Joy will have one on the 18th. You can see when their first session is there. Okay, discussion channel. Feel free to post questions about like, hey, problem number 7 on the assignment this week. This is really stumping me. What are some good tricks that you all have checked out or resources to help wrap your head around how to solve this? So feel free to use the discussion for any kind of curriculum questions or technical questions just about JavaScript or about working in tech or anything like that. And then the outlet channel is for you all to kind of just convene, socialize, get to know each other, that kind of thing. We also have some all channels that are further down in my 1800 list of channels. The all student convo has everybody in it. So it's going to have students that are in the React and the Node and the Python classes, students that just graduated out of the summer term, lots and lots of people in the all student convo. So anything that's Mars related, keep in one of your Mars channels. There's an all announcements channel for Code the Dream to let you know if we're going to be closed for a holiday, if we're going to be having some kind of networking event coming up, that kind of a thing. And then there's an all random that usually gets like job postings and funny GIFs about working in tech and the frustrations that are problem solving anything having to do with code. So enjoy the all random. It's kind of an amusing channel. Okay. To create new messages, there's a new message icon button up here for you to be able to create a new message. You put whoever it is that you're going to message, start the message to them. You can change fonts as far as boldface, underline. These two little guys down here are for you to be able to put code snippets or code blocks in, which are really helpful because if you have a code block in and your mentor needs to test that, then they can go ahead and copy all of that code and run it locally and see what's going on. So feel free to make use of code snippets and code blocks if you're troubleshooting with a mentor asynchronously. I think that hits the highlights for Slack. Does anybody have any Slack questions? Oh, Patrick, I'm glad you mentioned that in the chat. A couple of you that are returning to us from past classes, I should have classes already added for you. Patrick, yours was under a different email account, so I sent you an email earlier today. Just take a look at the message I had sent you, and I can also help you get organized as far as how to get in there. Oh, perfect. All right, I'll take a look at my email tonight. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, Zoom link that the students can make those code discussions. Oh, sure. So the Mars discussion right here, it would be the channel that you would use for questions about the curriculum or about the content. Your mentors and your classmates are going to be on this discussion channel. So you can help each other out with questions and answers, or mentors might chime in and be like, oh yeah, I can help answer that. Did that answer the question for you, Annette?
Actually, no, because I asked about the link for Zoom that
Oh, okay,
students can
perfect.
use and meet together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
link.
Zoom link for us to be able to join on like a group session, you can either find it on your dashboard of the Learns app once class has begun. And then the other place you can find it when you're in Slack is that class announcement. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong part. Mars announcements, class information. And it'll be here at the top, Zoom link for all sessions, group mentor session, Zoom link. Those are all the exact same link to be able to join where you need to join. Group mentor session, Zoom link. Is that helpful then, Annette?
The thing is that I'm thinking about if there is there, let's say the students would like to have some discussions, conversations on Zoom, right? And at this time, if we use the same link, it can be like several groups can be at the same time, or the session can happen at that time. So we practically should use only these links, right?
Yes, yeah, this will be the only link
All
that
the
you
time. Okay, okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, for students that want to kind of get together for any kind of like discussion, get to know each other, you're welcome to use this Zoom link. You don't need any kind of particulars to be able to get in there. Just make sure you're not joining when a session's already going on. So that way you're not interrupting a mentor session if you're getting on to be able to just kind of socialize or work through assignments together.
So another thing you can do, Mary Alice,
Yeah.
and I think it's probably easier just to use a Slack huddle instead of trying to use that Zoom link.
Yeah.
It's very easy to use a huddle, and you can do that anytime.
Yep. Yeah, huddles are also extremely useful. Thank you, Teresa. So the huddle feature that's here listed in the top, and then you can put in whoever that you wanted to join a huddle in. And it can have multiple people in that huddle. So you list the folks that you want to join and then start a huddle, and it just gets you all on a call, very similar to what we're doing here. You can still screen share on huddles. You can't record, but that's okay because you all wouldn't need to record if you're just gathering together. All right. Wonderful. Okay, let's keep on keeping on because I know I'm getting kind of tight on time here. Okay, jumping back over to orientation slide. Here we are. Okay, so we talked about Slack. GitHub you'll dive into in week 5. As you can see, your GitHub username is at the top when you click on the icon and pull up the pop-up menu there. So if you ever need to give somebody your GitHub handle so they know how to connect with you, then that's how you'll do that. Your coding assignment instructions, when you get to the GitHub weeks, will give you detailed instructions about how to create a new repository, how to make sure it's public, all of those good details. So this one was just a recap slide from your welcome videos, but I just wanted to let you know GitHub is a tool you'll use from week 5 on. Okay, I'm going to pass it to Teresa before my voice completely fails me, and she's going to cover some wonderful things about student expectations.
Okay, let me pull my thing up here. Okay, so Mary Alice did great with the tools, and you guys will have plenty of time to use the tools and figure out how to get them to work. And you have a lot of information being thrown at you in a short period of time. And then when you start with all of the software concepts, that's even a lot more. So don't stress about it. You've got time, and there's plenty of help. So what I want to go through is really what your expectations are as a student, what we expect students to do. And I think the number one thing is communicate. Susie and I are here to help. All the mentors are there to help, but we can't help if we don't know you need help. Make sure you understand what you need to do for your assignments. If you have a one-on-one session and your mentor doesn't show up, communicate that with us. We can follow up on it. There's a lot of things that I'll find out 2 or 3 weeks later. I'm like, well, why didn't you just Slack me and let me know? Because we are here to help. So please communicate with us and let us know what you need because we want you to succeed. That is probably the driving force here. So we want you to succeed, and we want to help you. So one thing too, and we rarely have a problem with this, is we expect respect for each other and for the volunteers and the staff. We're all here to learn and to help you learn. So enter into it respectfully, I guess, is what I want to say. Be patient with both your mentors and with other students who are asking questions. If someone's asking a question, there are others who don't know the answer as well. So never be afraid to ask a question. This is really a safe environment to learn. There's nothing punitive about what we're trying to do. We're really just trying to help you. For academic integrity, I think Mary Alice, of course, went over the AI policy, but I think most importantly is you are here to learn. If you're using the AI to write your code, you're not learning. I mean, down the road as a developer, you will use your AI tools in a different way, but right now you really need to understand the basic concepts that all software is built upon. And the only way to do it is to write it yourself. So just make sure that you are doing that because you're not helping yourself at all by using tools to write your code. And I think that kind of goes into this educational engagement. This is a great opportunity. There are so many mentors who have so much knowledge on so many different aspects of software development and engineering. This is a great opportunity to pick everyone's brain and learn what you can. Um, I mean, it should be kind of exciting. It's frustrating because there are so many things to learn, but it's exciting too. And it's fun when things start working. Even as long as I've been developing software, I still think it's fun when I finally get things to work and, it comes up on the display and I'm like, yeah, I did that. I coded that. So I hope you guys get that, feel that, because it is good. Let's see. Mary Alice gave me a link to the AI policy, so let me drop that into the chat for everybody. I think we've kind of gone through that more. I think you guys probably get um, what the AI policy is. Okay. If I face challenges, which you probably will, very few people come in here and just breeze through everything. You're going to be confused about things. It's a lot of information. So definitely communicate with us. Back to the first slide, communicate with us. So you should be attending hopefully a group session every week. And if not a group session, definitely a one-on-one session. I always recommend to students that they should try a few different group sessions to see which mentors fit their learning style. Everybody learns differently. Different mentors teach differently. Try a few different sessions and see what works for you. Um, if you Group sessions are good from a broad perspective, as well as it's also good to hear other students ask questions, which can then spur questions of your own. You learn a lot just by listening to what's going on. If you have problems with specific things, it's good to do a one-on-one session. And there's a lot of different mentors that are available with different schedules for one-on-one help. When you do, oh, I think this may be the next slide. I'll talk about asking for help with a one-on-one mentor. If you do fall behind in class, once again, communication is key. Really, Susie and I have been doing this for quite a few classes now. We have a lot of answers, and if we don't have the answer, Mary Alice knows everything. We can find the answer for you. So definitely come to us and we can help. Let's see. So if you do fall behind, contact Susie or I. I'm looking at what the things are. So we will want you, if you're behind more than a week or two, we will want you to make a catch-up plan. Because we do know that if you fall too far behind, it's very difficult to catch up. So we want you to succeed. So we will be slacking you if you're falling behind. And if you don't communicate with us, you can be dropped after 2 weeks of not turning in your assignments on time. But once again, communicate with us. Okay. This is really important. If you need help and you say you've scheduled a session with your one-on-one mentor, try to solve it yourself first. There's a lot of information. Google is your friend, and it can help you work through the problem. If you can't figure it out, that's fine. Lots of help available. Try to Slack either in the Google Meet that you do or Slack your mentor ahead of time what your problem is, where you're having an issue. A lot of times it's helpful for the mentor if they can look it up ahead of time, and it's more effective for both you and the mentor. If you just say, I need help, that's not super helpful. If you're saying, I'm having a problem with this specific concept or this specific question, then we can go ahead and look at it and see what we can do ahead of time. Copying and pasting screenshots are great. When you get to issues in the GitHub portion when you're working on your website, if you can go ahead and send a link to your GitHub repository, also great. I think all of those things are good to think about. And do not be afraid to ask for help. Everybody gets confused. What will help me thrive? You can work ahead in the curriculum, which is good. It's good, especially if you know they're going to be on vacation or you know you're going to have a busy week at work or whatever. Sometimes it's helpful to work ahead. You've all done study plans in your week 0, so try to follow your study plan. It is a lot because there are so many new concepts that you're looking at. It's really helpful if you can do it a little bit at a time. Trying to cram things in like one day a week is difficult. I think you do a lot better reading and searching and trying things than letting your brain kind of think about it for a little while. At least that's what I've always found. So that's what I recommend as well. Let's see. So stay on track. Once again, communicate with us if you need any help. If you fall behind, life happens. We know that. Life happens to mentors, life happens to students. If it's something short term, that you know of, make a plan to work ahead, see if you can communicate with us, make a catch-up plan. If you aren't able to stick to the catch-up plan, you really should take a leave of absence, and then you can either reapply later, depending on your schedule, or you can submit a plan to retake the next session. Is that the next slide?
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna screen share really quick. I just wanted folks to have a visual on the catch-up plan. So if you do find yourself where you're behind, then Susie or Teresa will send you a catch-up plan to fill out. And it's a form. I need to update some of the content on here. But the main thing is like what's getting in your way from being successful, and then giving a really concrete plan. Like if you don't have lessons 3 and 4 turned in, lesson 3 will be in by such and such date. Lesson 4 will be in by such and such date. I'll be on track by lesson 5. So having a very clear, concrete, touchable, recognizable
Yes.
goals for yourself is going to help you get back on track more quickly. So I just wanted to throw that in there too really quick, and then I'll get back to the other slide for you.
Yes, so where were we? So if something
I
happens
think I'm
that
supposed to
you
be on the
can't,
next one after for you, Teresa, am I?
no, this is good. This is good. So it really, if something happens and you can't keep up with the class, you can't take a leave of absence. I mean, we all know, like I said, life happens. Things beyond our control, and it's just not the right time. I've had students that have come in and then the next class been very successful because it was a better time for them schedule-wise. So don't feel like that's a failure at all if that is your situation. But once again, communicate with us and we can tell you what your options are. You can't petition to retake the class the next session if you're sure that that will work out for you. And we have links to that. We can tell you where to go from. So if you aren't communicating and you aren't attending sessions and turning in the work, you will be dropped from the class. We do have ways of seeing when you've turned in your last, what sessions you attend, and when you've turned in your assignments. So we do check those. And we will Slack you and check in with you, but if we don't communicate, we will automatically drop you from the class. And I just talked about the petition to continue. So it does not guarantee, the retake policy has changed a little bit for people that are coming from previous classes where we're just like, sure, you can take next class. But because of the competition for spots and stuff, it is a little bit more formal, the process. You'll either need to submit this petition to continue or reapply at a later date. So petition to continue would be for the next session. And then I guess that was it. Does anybody have any questions about those slides that I just went through? No? Okay. I will hand this over to Susie. She's going to talk about resources.
Hello. So yeah, I know this is the last set of slides, but bear with me. You're almost there. Um, so tools that you have. So as Mary Alice showed you, we have Zoom for the group mentor sessions, often too for the meetings with the mentors. Like I would often use, I primarily use Google Meet, or you can use Slack huddles for your one-on-one sessions. So make sure if you want to meet with a mentor, make sure you know how you want to meet and check out to make sure you can share your screen. Although I most mentors have no problem with helping you get through that initial hurdle of sharing your screen. But that's really what we need is we need to see your screen because we can't really help you too terribly by just discussing it. We want to look at that code. Slack. So Slack is where you should go, frequently. I would say at least 2 times a week minimum. I personally would be on it though, every day that you're definitely working on your material. But Slack is where the announcements will go out. So like often, like especially like for group mentor sessions, sometimes your mentor might have to switch things. So they'll post it on the announcements. Discussion is for you. You can post questions and other students can help you. So that's a great resource as well. And then you have the outlet channels as well. All of these things on Slack, it's also great if you want to just search for things. So, like if you have a question, someone may have asked it. So, that's actually a great resource to go search and see if someone asked the same thing that you're having problems with. Um, GitHub. So, Mary Alice again was showing you about setting up your account, but like as you get further into your assignments, you'll be submitting your work through GitHub, and that's where your reviews will occur. And we'll go over those flows um, in time for you to do that. I think for there may be a subset of students where we actually try to do that a little bit earlier than week 5. Internal tools, as Mary Alice showed you, you've got your CTD Learns app, which is really great because it's like one-stop shopping to go find everything that you need. And then, of course, the AI assignment reviewer tool, which I personally, uh, I would have loved to have something like that as I worked on my assignments when I was learning, but something that can do kind of like a pre-check before you turn it in is it's a great resource. So I would again urge you to use it, but again, make sure you're debugging on your own before you run the AI assignment reviewer tool. It's not a substitute. Let me see if I miss anything. I think I covered. Okay. People. Sorry. Sorry, I'm like simultaneously trying to read the notes that are there too. So you have a lot of different types of resources. You have your one-on-one mentors. So make sure, so if you go to Slack, on the announcement Slack channel, there is a thing called, I think Mary Alice showed it to you, the Mars class information, but there will be information about the one-on-one mentors, and you can use you can have use the a lot of the reviewers that you have that you're assigned to. I would say that's my first go-to, but you can also go to other mentors. Um, but make sure if you do schedule a session, let them know if you need to cancel because I know in the past I've rearranged my schedule and then if something happens, but it happens, but try to make them aware if you need to cancel. And as Teresa said, if for some reason they didn't show up to your session, let us know because maybe we can follow up and see what's going on. Group mentors, that again is in your class information tab. And it uses the link, it has a link to join Zoom. And note, some of those may be recorded and added to the gallery so you can refer to recordings if needed. Now, you are required to go to at least one session a week. I would first try to go to a group mentor session. If you have to, you could try to substitute with a one-on-one. But if you miss the group session, you can watch recording. Unfortunately, though, that won't count as your attendance. But it's still a great resource if you want to go back and refresh your memory on a certain item. Plus, also, you might want to just even see what the different mentors, they have different styles. There may be one that you like better, or, it just helps your learning style. So, I know we all have different learning styles. So some sessions may work better for you than others. Assignment reviewers. So again, use that class information tab. You should be able to see who your reviewer is. They should be in touch with you early in the class. Please let us know if you are not hearing from your reviewer or you don't know who your reviewer is. We'll definitely make sure that we want you to be in touch with that reviewer. They're the ones who are going to check your work. If you have questions about the comments, you want to be in communication with that reviewer. And again, if you're not getting comments on your work, please let us know because we will, sometimes something happens to the reviewer and we may just need to switch who is doing that review. Cohort leaders, it's either going to be myself or Teresa. And again, that'll be in that class information tab. So yeah, I would first reach out to the one you're assigned to, but Teresa and I are also, we talk to each other a bunch. So, if we reach out to to her versus me, it's fine. We'll sort that out. Oh, I guess that was it. Yeah. So I guess we're at the point
Yep,
for
we're at the questions and
questions.
answers section. No questions means no answers. So feel free to share any questions. I've been trying to answer the ones that have been popping up in the chat, and I'll highlight a couple. Yeah, so a group session, one group session every week. Definitely plan to do that. That is the minimum. You need to do at least one group session every week. You can do multiple. You can change which one you're attending from week to week. If you can't make a group session, attend a one-on-one session. If you can't make a group session or a one-on-one session, talk to your cohort leader. Make sure you're accessing additional tools if you need them, like the recordings from a group session or things of that nature. There was a question about if there's a session on Monday. Reed might be finalizing other sessions with volunteers as they are onboarding this week. So we don't have one on the schedule yet, but there might be one coming. If you're ever on a session and the mentor is not there, give them a minute or two to make sure and see if they sign on. If they don't, then feel free to ping them in Slack, use the class announcements channel, or direct message them and say, hey, I'm waiting for you for a group session. You're not here. Is everything okay? That kind of a thing. If you don't hear back, if it's a complete no-show situation, let Susie or Teresa know so that way we can follow up. We might have to change what time they're doing. They might have had a change of plans and not told us that they're not volunteering anymore. So it's always good to communicate these things. I have over 200 of you all that I'm taking care of this term. Susie and Teresa have over 116 of, I think there's 117 total in your class that those two are taking care of. So it's extremely helpful for you to let us know if something's not how it should be, because it's just an extra pair of eyes to help us catch things like that. I think that hits the highlights, but fire away with any other questions. Taking a look to see if I've missed anything else in the chat that I want to be sure to highlight. You may get occasional reminders. When we do mentor orientations, we encourage mentors to post in the class announcements channel with hey, I'm going to be covering such and such topic in an hour for my group session. Be sure to join. But it is your responsibility to make sure you take a look at the schedule, see when those sessions are, and that you plan for your schedule what works the best, which session you'll attend. You can use a different IDE other than VS Code. Make sure it's one that you're comfortable with and you know how it works. You might want to confirm with whatever mentor before you meet with them about what tool you're using. We do usually encourage folks to use VS Code, and we have instructions in classes about how to download that, how to use that. So that is one thing to be aware of, that most people probably will be using Visual Studio Code. Time zones can vary. So our mentors are kind of all across the country, just like you guys are all across the country. So be sure that you're paying attention to any notations of those time zones, like on that table I showed you of when those group sessions are, with Joy's session at 8. If you are East Coast, then meet her at 8 on Tuesdays. If you are West Coast, it needs to be 5 o'clock your time when you are meeting Joy on Tuesdays. So just be aware of any kind of time zone changes, especially since next week is the time change possibly. So if you're in like Indiana or Arizona, then your time's going to be different from other people than it had been after the time change. One-on-ones are not only if you need help, if you just want to talk to a mentor about what was it like for you getting into tech, or if you have questions because you're working ahead of schedule, if you have questions because you're behind and you need help, if it's just a tough week and you want some extra input, then that's totally fine. One-on-ones are great for any variety of reasons that you might want. You can choose any group session you want. You aren't assigned to a specific group session. For those of you that are doing the pilot class, I'll talk to you more about group sessions after our call, though. I don't know for sure if we have a Russian speaking mentor this class. We usually do have a Russian speaking mentor. We usually do have a Spanish speaking mentor across our student body. Those are the two largest represented languages. So we try and meet those needs for students where possible. If you want to connect with a mentor about a specific language that is your primary language, just talk to me and I can see if we have somebody available that I can connect you with. Yes, let me confirm, but I believe this year you all have the full week of Thanksgiving off. Previously, we used to only do just Thursday, Friday. Yes, so from Wednesday the 26th until December 2nd, you will not have any new lessons, and you probably will have spotty mentor sessions. Not everybody will be available because of the holidays. And then the final week of the year from December 24th until December 30th, if I'm getting those dates right, no new lessons, and you probably will have limited or no mentor sessions during that winter break time frame as well too. Let's see here. Any other questions that I'm missing in the chat? Oh, great. Yeah, signing up for one-on-one sessions. Let me go ahead and show that really quick now too. I need to get to the right spot. Where is my screen share at? Come on, window. Here we go. Okay. So we were here in Mars announcements, Mars class information. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have it linked yet, do I? Oh, I don't have it linked because I wasn't sure who our confirmed mentors were for the class yet. But you all will have a one-on-one mentors. I'm getting the old class one from our last intro class, just so that way I can demonstrate it for you. But you will have a link there where I had just showed you about one-on-one mentors. It will take you to a gallery that looks like this, only it'll say Mars one-on-one mentors. If we have photos of them, if we have details on them, all of that information will be there. It'll let you know when they usually have sessions, but that might change throughout the course. So to see their schedule, click here to schedule with that one-on-one mentor. It will take you to their scheduling page. You select what day you want to meet with them and what time you want to meet with them. Share your name and your email, and then you can talk about, this is what I want to go over in my one-on-one session, and then schedule the event, and it'll send you an email confirmation. It sends them an email confirmation, so that way you know that you're on their calendar for that particular event. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. And I think that hits the highlights. All right. Other questions that haven't been answered in the chat that we need to address? I think I still have you pinned, Susie. I'm sorry. But I do love seeing your lovely face. There we go. Hi, everyone. You're stuck with me now. Ha 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 ha. Any other questions? Yes, there will be a recording of the session. I will be sharing that in your class announcements channel, and I'll try and email it out to you all too, just in case anybody hasn't managed to get themselves on Slack yet. That way you'll be able to refer back to it if you need to. All right. Right at 8 o'clock. Way to go. Okay. So that concludes. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the week. You know how to reach us on Slack. You know how to reach us on email. So feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be posting in the class announcements channel office hours with Teresa or Susie or myself. So if you do need anything, then you can reach out to us and connect synchronously on a call for us to get things squared away. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great night. If I had emailed you about a pilot class, please stay on if you're able to. I guess I don't really need to have myself pinned on there now. Thanks everybody. Have a great class.